People have questions about mobile phones and phone towers, how they work and about their safety in the community.
What sort of radiation are they emitting?
What about the long-term effects?
Mobile phones and their base stations use EME to communicate. Put into basic terms, EME stands for electromagnetic energy. EME is radiation, and radiation is energy. A fact of everyday life.
Telecommunication companies always put a positive spin on this kind of thing, but how do we really know?
Almost everything in our homes emits electromagnetic fields to some degree. So if it's natural energy and already in our everyday, why do so many see it as harmful?
You read so much about EME and mobile phones and tower and base stations that you just don't know who's right and who's wrong. At the end of the day, it's my kids' health I worry about. My child's health could be affected and I'm not going to let that happen.
They're telling us it's fine, but we don't actually know what the effects will be.
We're just like everybody else in the community. We just don't know if they're safe or not.
We see all these towers popping up all over the place, but are they really safe?
Well, the best person to answer these very valid questions about EME is Mike Bangay from Arpanza. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Jeff.
What exactly is your title at Arpanza?
I'm a technical specialist.
And what does that mean?
Look, I assess radio frequency EME hazards for the public and for workers, investigate whether they're being exposed, also contribute towards the setting of safe standards.
And the scientific experts, what do they say about this issue, about the research into EME?
There have been extensive independent reviews of the scientific research over recent years. They include health authorities in the UK, Canada, Holland, France and Australia. They all come to the same conclusions that the low levels of radio frequency EME, like those emitted from mobile phone handsets or those around base stations, are not known to cause health problems.
And what about the issue of safety?
The Australian limits provide protection for people of all ages and health, whether exposed to EME irregularly or 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Limits are well below the thresholds where health effects have been shown to occur.
So, Mike, what does EME mean to you?
Well, Jeff, it's a neat way of moving energy from one place to another without wires, pipes or any other mechanical sort of thing.
But what about the question of radiation?
A lot of people think about it as being atomic or nuclear, really hazardous stuff that may lead to cancer. But when we're talking about radio frequency EME, that really is quite different.
So we're talking about the difference between ionising radiation and non-ionising radiation.
Apart from UV, knowing that light, heat and radio waves are non-ionising and are only known to heat, we can feel more relaxed over the issue of radiation.
We sit next to a radiator to get warm, don't we?
Yes, and in a similar way, exposure to radio frequency EME above the safety limits will cause some heating.
So the radio frequency radiation from a mobile phone or from a base antenna is quite different to that from a power line.
Yes, it's really an entirely different issue. Power lines don't create EME, they only create electric and magnetic fields that diminish rapidly with distance.
So, Mike, is it safe for us to stand right here?
Look, there's no problem about the emissions. The EME really is quite low. There is the low power transmitter and also the fact that the antennas throw the energy out towards the horizon. There's very little down here, and if you look at this meter that I've got here, it really is showing nothing. And that's what I would expect. Base stations really don't produce EME levels that are readily measurable by normal instruments.
You read all kinds of things in the newspapers about mobile phones, and I guess we just don't know if they cause cancer or not.
You know, some people say you can get brain tumours, and some people say, oh no, that's absolute rubbish.
Yeah, but what about the long-term effects? Are my kids going to be safe?
Michael, are the scientists seriously concerned about possible future health risks from mobile phones and their base antennas?
We've taken their concerns quite seriously and looked at the issues of both mobile phones and base stations. And currently the evidence is saying that there isn't really a problem.
Can you guarantee that at some time in the future, those people like me and my family who live near a tower or regularly use a mobile phone will not get cancer?
Honestly, I wish someone would give me a guarantee that I won't get cancer over my lifetime. The fact is that cancer does come to us. Some of the causes we know, like smoking and exposure to ultraviolet light, but there's many that we don't know. However, there's one thing that we can be sure of. Despite the extensive scientific research, there is no clear or substantiated scientific evidence that emissions from mobile phones or base stations cause or promote cancer. Neither is there any good reason to think that 3G or the newer technologies are of concern.
The weight of national and international scientific opinion is that there is no substantiated evidence that RF emissions associated with living near a mobile phone base station or telecommunications tower poses a health risk. Despite extensive research, to date there is no evidence to conclude that exposure to low